This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon.
When we built the bike path on Souligny, people were saying, hey, we already have one bike path at the far south of the neighborhood, and it's enough. If people want to use their bike, they can go on that bike path. It was the Notre Dame bike path. People still had that mentality of biking as a touristic, a leisure activity, while Souligny is in the middle of the neighborhood. And now when you look at the statistics, you see that it's as popular as a bike path than the one on Notre Dame. So with that bike path, we doubled the east-west bike path in the neighborhood, but we really had to pay a political price. We had the medias against us. We had citizens against us. Everybody was saying, there's no cyclists around here. Nobody used their bike. It's not for our neighborhood. And now you see it, it's quite used. At our office, we like to quote Kevin Costner from Field of Dreams, build it, and they will come. If you build it well, they will come.
Montreal isn't a bike-friendly city so much as a city with some bike-friendly neighborhoods. That actually describes a lot of cities, but it's especially true here, or at least it's traditionally been true.
My name is Pierre Lessard-Blais. I'm the mayor of the borough of Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve in Montreal.
This is one of the boroughs changing that, with projects like this road alongside the Olympic Stadium. In 2019, it looked like this, and in 2020, like this. Much bigger sidewalks and bike lanes. 3 things to know about Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve. First, it spans from the dense older neighborhoods near the stadium to the semi-suburban areas just beyond the reach of the Montreal Metro's Green Line. Second, it's surrounded by industry, from this enormous quarry to the port of Montreal, which means that pedestrians and cyclists deal with high truck volumes on a lot of roads. Third, the borough is cut up by industrial areas, train tracks, and highways. All 3 affect active transportation. This super nice bike corridor cuts off here because the road is blocked by train tracks and an industrial area, so it's not even the bike lane in the borough that he's most proud of.
Right here on Rue Marseille, the design is not crazy itself. It's pretty light infrastructure, but I'm very proud of it because it's probably the bike path that we had to remove the most space for cars to implement it. It was the only street that could connect the 2 neighborhoods of Hochelaga-Maisonneuve and Mercier-West. If we wanted the bike path to be secure, we had to remove half of the parking and also one way of the cars. Politically, it was tough. On the last election, Ensemble Montréal, the opposition party, promised to revise it, either removing it or downsizing it. There was some question periods at city council that were rough for me. But nowadays, when you see the kids going to school, you see the elders that can bike and feel secure on it, it's a moment of pride for me. So it's not the fanciest, but it's secure and it's meaningful because it connects 2 neighborhoods.
That pathway on Notre Dame Street at the south of the neighborhood, yes, that's considered south in Montreal, don't question it, that critics said was enough. Not only is it at the edge of the neighborhood, but it runs through a heavy industrial area. I actually labeled a video clip Intersection from Hell when we took a bike trip 5 years ago that passed through here.
It's pretty much a big sidewalk. If you lose concentration and you go off the bike path, you end up on Notre Dame Street, and since they have those big trucks all around, you might end up being run over by one of those trucks. As a father, I have 3 young kids. It's not a bike path that I'm comfortable to bring my kids on. It's good for big guys like me.
The western part of the borough, closer to downtown, is a classic Montreal neighborhood of dense walk-up apartments. Going east, the densities gradually thin out. Still lots of walk-ups, but they have more driveways and lawns, and there are some pockets of single-family homes. We're not in the suburbs yet, but it's a little less urban than the central city, and that makes it more of a battleground politically. The urbanist pro-cycling Projet Montréal party won the borough in the last 2 elections, but the margin wasn't as overwhelming as in the more central boroughs. That makes it an appealing place for the media to write about bike lane controversies.
It's good clickbait for medias. It always generates A lot of comments.
This should have been the ideal bike lane from the perspective of not disturbing drivers. It's not on a main road, and while it takes away some parking, only one side of the road even has homes.
But people were used to have both sides of the street to park. And when we built that bike path, we had to remove 50% of the parkings. And we even have a national media, TVA Nouvelle, who came and interviewed citizens that were shouting, "We lost our parking. How are we going to go to work? How am I going to take care of the family?"
Traditionally, this borough has mostly built side street bike lanes.
We tend to avoid building bike path on roads that have many cars. We usually build the bike path maybe like one road away.
But they have a really big project under construction now, Hochelaga Street, a main street that goes through the middle of the borough for its entire length.
It's gonna be awesome because we're taking the Hochelaga Street, which is 6-car wide, we're making it 4 cars wide. And we're putting one bike path on each side. Plus, we're gonna have some spots to make it easier for pedestrians to cross the street, because this project is more than a bike path. It's making it safer for people, for pedestrians to cross. It's gonna reduce the speed for cars. Pretty much everybody is happy about it. We had an evening of where we shared the information with the public, and we had very few bad comments. The merchants are happy, the people are happy. There are many schools and parks by Hochelaga Street. It's going to be happening this summer and this fall, and I'm very happy about it. I've been advocating for it for many years, and for my last year as mayor, I'm seeing it happen.
They did something clever. Given that the road was going down to 4 car lanes, they asked people if they preferred all travel lanes or 2 parking lanes. They chose parking. The space taken by cars on the street is falling from 73 to 50%, which is more of a balanced split. People ask why put bike lanes on main roads when they can go on side streets instead. My big problem with side street bike lanes is that they tend to have fewer destinations. They tend to be less direct and straightforward, and it's easy for cities to skimp out on protection or separation and just draw sharrows or something. This side street bike lane in the borough is pretty good because it connects some schools, parks, and stores. It covers a decent distance, 3 kilometers with one turn in the middle, and they were willing to actually take space from cars for comfortably wide bike lanes. But this new Hochelaga Street corridor is going to cover even more destinations and be more than twice as long, 3 times as long if they extend it beyond current plans. Side street bike lanes can be good, but main street bike lanes have even more potential to be great. They help pedestrians too. The street is getting lower speed limits, from 50 to 30 kilometers an hour, and pedestrian refuge islands. It reminds me of Saint Denis, a main street bike lane built in 2020 that connects 5 boroughs and quickly became the busiest in the city. I wondered, do success stories like Saint Denis help politicians in other boroughs make the case for similar projects there?
People in our borough, they don't like when you compare with downtown or plateau. It's not the same stuff here, people will say. So you cannot say, we want to do like the plateau, we want to do like Rosemont. It doesn't work. It doesn't land.
So rather than saying we're not Amsterdam, they say we're not that other neighborhood of Montreal. Still, models like Saint Denis are useful inspiration for politicians and advocates.
It was a symbol for the whole city, for all the local projects that it could be done. Even though you don't use it in your arguments locally with the citizens, I think that psychologically it made a big difference, because in the end, on Saint Denis Street, there were merchants that said, hey, it's good for our business as well. And when you go on Saint Denis, you see it, you feel it. The street is way better. So it was a big win, but it's not a local argument we can use.
More progress in the borough? This road with 4 lanes for cars went down to 3 lanes for cars, giving a wide 2-way bike lane that connects to half a dozen important routes in different neighborhoods. This unprotected 2-way bike lane got concrete protection, much more greenery, and more crosswalks for pedestrians. This road connection to the dangerously industrial Notre Dame Street got blocked off for a much safer ride along the multi-use pathway. One thing I had to ask, given the city we're in, snow clearing.
We have 14 machines that plow the sidewalks, and we transformed one of them to plow the bike path. And this way we manage to remove snow from 100% of our bike network. So when you really have heavy snow, you kind of lose it, but for, I'd say, 90% of the winter, you can bike on our bike path. Sometimes people complain because they see that the plow for bikes passed before a sidewalk, but we only have one plow, one machine for the bike path and 13 for the sidewalks, plus other contracts for the sidewalks.
I wanted to make this video because, although I love seeing improvements in already strong neighborhoods too, I'm even more happy to see more boroughs become bike-friendly. And this one, Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve, is one of the most exciting. What about advice for politicians running in districts outside of the most central neighborhoods hoping to make big changes? Be clear and open about your goals so that if you win, you know you have a mandate to implement them.
You got to be clear saying, hey, I want to expand our bike network. If you say it during the campaign and you get elected, then you have a clear mandate. Nobody's going to say, hey, you never told us. Well, some people will tell you, but you will counter-argument. You'll say, no, I did say so. And then you have to build good bike paths that lead somewhere, that are secure, that will change the habits of the citizen. It will be a hard time at first, but 1 year, 2 years after, you will see big changes, and then you'll be very proud of having kept on your word and having supported this project.
Thanks for watching through to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and a special thanks to our supporters on Patreon.